Blessing God. Blessings and greetings and happy Monday again to you all. I am Brandy, and I pray today has been great, and that your evening ends even better. Mine has been interesting. Tonight, in the RTK inner circle, there were some very interesting questions that were brought up at the end. And it made me think about a conversation that I had with a very, very powerful gentleman just days ago. And it's so funny that, when somebody just calls to check up on you and ends up speaking into you, and this particular individual was literally just telling me about some things that he'd done as far as like checking on some other people and speaking into their situations. And it's so funny that some of the very things that he was speaking into them, he was actually speaking into me by telling me about those stories, and I in turn, I'm very transparent about a lot. That's part of the art of life that I speak on, is being transparent. But I'm going to share these questions the best that I can. I hope I wrote them down right. I know the gist of it. And then I'm going to piggyback and elaborate on some of the things that he and I discussed, and some of the things that I shared with him. And you guys will begin to learn more, about me and my dealings in the mental health field and the children that I dealt with who are like in high school and college and grown, and some have children now, or at least one child, and it's just amazing. But without further ado, I'm gonna get off into these questions. One of them was, who are you when no one else is around? Who are you when no one else is around? And the other is, can your character keep up with what you've been praying for? And another is, who are you, in situations when there is nothing to gain? And it was another question, I kept missing it. I was trying to get my pen in time, but I missed it. But these three here were definitely three questions that stuck with me. And I'm going to ask you to think about the same thing, like, who are you when no one else is around? And of course, can your character keep up with what you've been praying for, or who you've been praying for that matter, or the both? For people who are praying for individuals to come into their lives, be it, in a romantic sense, in a business sense, in a mentorship sense, friendship-wise. Like, can your character keep up with what and who you've been praying for, the kinds of individuals you've been praying for, and the things that you've actually been praying for? And who are you in situations when there is nothing to gain? I'm going to start with myself, with who are you when no one else is around, because this is kind of piggybacking off of some things that he and I were talking about. And it's so funny, we got to speaking about those who do charity. I'm not going to say charity work, because sometimes in that, and especially like with different organizations, sometimes, you have to show certain things that are going on as far as events and giveaways and things of that sort. But just doing charitable work, doing a thing that has been placed on your heart to do, that thing that God has nudged you to do, whether it's been ahead of time or if it's something that is instantaneously or impulsively upon being in a certain atmosphere or being, in front of or around certain individuals and seeing a need somewhere. I know for me personally, even in when I was working still as a behavioral health case manager and an LPC candidate, so I was wearing a counselor hat at the same time, and the kids called me counselor even before I was under supervision as one. But I know during that time, I saw so much that was going on in my neighborhood that I just really didn't realize was going on to that depth. When I was younger, I knew that, there were so-called classes of people, upper class, middle class, lower class, whatever the case may be. We had friends in the projects, but a lot of our friends that was in the projects, and we lived in the projects 1 year too. And it was fun, real fun. But I had family members and friends that lived in the projects and different apartment complexes. And when I say they came out stunting. They was ready. And the apartments were, kept up well. Their parents or grandparents, whoever, they worked, and they may not have been making a lot of money, but what they did make, they made it happen. You know what I'm saying? And so what I was seeing was just a little bit different from what I was expecting. There were some situations that I just was unbeknownst to and oblivious to, and being so close to home because I was thinking about, I guess, my day and in my time. And so from the beginning to the end, I'm gonna be honest, and not to go off into detail, but from the beginning to the end, I gave. From the beginning to the end, I gave. And there was a lot of time that I missed out with my own children because I sacrificed that time to be something or someone in other children's lives that was needed at the time. And I would always explain it to my sons because, my sons still, even when I was absent, they still had somebody there. My grandmother's a strong individual. That lady is something serious, but, they had her. And they had a home, and we may not have had everything that we wanted all of the time, but it was still safe. It was still filled with the amenities, and it would be sometimes, it was so funny that, because I've been trying to make that money stretch because I tithe. I did tithe. I didn't miss a tithe, okay? But, having to pay part on this bill and part on that bill and make the money stretch from every 2 weeks, or every other week, however they were doing it. And I remember sometimes with the electricity, I would wait down to the last minute. And sometimes I would miss the day. And it's like in the middle of whatever day, sometimes it would just go, and it would go all the way. And I would have to call them right then, like, to pay the amount to get it, and then it would come right back on. But it was funny. And blessed God. But even during those times, and I was in grad school and I had a truck. And so having to make money stretch to have gas to get to and from school. And if I would see needs, and I did all of the time, I still gave. And I mean to those who were on my caseload and to the families, because I couldn't not. There were hours, and I do mean hours, that I would spend sometimes, and I was not getting paid for that because there was a need,